Here's another episode of hand sewing sails. I got extra material that I noticed actually would recreate my mizzen. So that was a bonus. And I found a new technique using nails so that I could do 8 holes at a time, making hand sewing much easier.
And here's the progress so far. Oh, the other good news is, I'll take you outside. So I have this pretty much done right here. Here's a fold stitched. So I was mentioning that's to create more draft in this area because I cut away the first part of the sail where probably that's where the draft was. And here's another part. Now because it's in here, I may sew it up a little bit more to keep it tight to there so that it then feathers away over there. We shall see. But basically that'll balloon that section out. And there's the rest of it. I've showed you that in previous videos. And I ended up realizing, I had an aha moment, that I have enough material, leftover material, to redo my mizzen. So let's take a walk outside here.
Actually, it was Deanne's idea.
That is Thorn. That is a nice little 8-foot 3-inch dinghy that rows, and it motors really nice. It's a great little fishing boat, and it sails really nice as well as a little dinghy. So, and that's a center bench that's got flotation and storage. So anyway, moving right along. So it's just, I don't know, it's not that much smaller. It's just a hair smaller, but that was made, this is preset to be sewed. So I use staples to hold stuff in place and add to the seams and so forth. So it's not terribly neat, but it certainly will be much nicer than the original mizzen, which is a painted blue sail. D&D, I forget what kind of boat that comes off of, but I'm pretty thrilled because it's almost the exact same size, and that's just using up scraps. There's still another piece over there, and so that means out of that big Martha Jane sail, I'm getting a jib, a mizzen. All my sails are going to be brand new. I was going to sort of stain that mizzen black or something, just rub on some black and end up, but I don't know how nice that would have turned out. Or go white. I have other sailcloth that I could have used still, but how perfect is that? We can't complain. That little bit of loss of a few inches here, so maybe a square foot, will mean nothing, but the length worked out really good. Those grommets were all part of the piece of scrap that I had right to that length. Actually, that's where I took a piece of grommet and made it work as the foot, foot clue. And up here, I again cut and added a piece in here, so to create a top clue or whatever you want to call it. And I did the same thing on the leech's bottom corner. So it should work really good. Very, very thrilled. That's exciting. So more work though, more hand sewing. I should be able to get that done in a day. And so back at it. Show you my door. Okay, there's a story around that. That was up against, that was on, we went camping, and I guess we were on private property. We had no clue because the tree that this sign was on had fallen, and it was dead, so we were using it as firewood, and we turned over a chunk and saw that sign. And that's our original signboard way back when, nothing fancy. So this is what I'm up to. Hours upon hours of sewing because I'm doing it by hand. But it's coming out okay. I'm excited. I think it's going to turn out really good. And on the back side, I'm very pleased how neat and tidy I've managed to sew around these parts. You can see that gives you an idea, and I did end up with a little wrinkle here, but the overall theme of things, it'll look good from 30 feet, and that'll be awesome. Here again, you can see, so that should work out pretty good. So, evolution. I was originally drilling every single hole with a ground nail, which works, but it's inconsistent, and you don't get the pattern right, and it's slow, and I'm getting sick of it. And I now find myself with another sail to do, so a small one, mind you, the mizzen sail, but it still will be handy in some of the really thick material. But then I evolved to where actually I use this and just banged it to set the holes. And that seemed easier because I could just pop it out pretty easy. But I didn't like the patterning. It's off. So my new pattern, I can align. I've already done the whole stretch here. I can align. Seems a little abusive. You need a good solid top to do this on. But you set it up, and I'm doing 8 holes at once. So now, I banged it a bit too far in. But there's 8 holes in one shot. And to finish it, let's just pull it down here a bit. Make sure it's flat. So the alignment was perfect there. Align again. Actually, I noticed I'm using 2-inch nails with the head. That gives you something to hit on the top side. And I drilled from this side at determined measurements on a drill press, nice and straight. But the bit I use is smaller, slightly smaller than the shank. And so it'll wander, so hammer it in from the opposite side, as though any of you are going to do this. But bottom line is, but I noticed that after putting it in, it's not that I drove the nail any deeper. Some of these nails are actually slightly bigger than others. And one of the photos shows that I ground off the spiral, and that makes for a perfect depth for about 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch up the nail.
Here you can see where I'm pointing. That's been ground.
And I also took out the sharp corners on the nail. So it took just a little bit to do, but if you have a whack of sails to do, it's just simply a matter of aligning, setting it up, and there you go. You pop it off, and you've got 8 holes. Yeah. So it really works pretty darn good. So that's working really, really well. And for future sewing, I'll keep this board. Again, be vigilant of wrinkles. They will haunt you. Should tape up my fingers. Imagine how hard it would be if I didn't have the holes already pre-done. It's a lot easier on the thinner material. I'm into the rope here, so. Yes, I'm using this hand a bit. The doctor told me I'm trying to avoid using it, but the doctor told me if as long as I'm somewhat nice to it, that it doesn't hurt. I should be resting it though, but it's hard to do in my lifestyle. You see, I used my arm. I didn't use that. There you go. Just to appease some of the folks. At any rate, you sort of see the idea. Come on. Take out the staples as you go. So this right along here is the hardest part. As I said, that'll be so easy to do. Innovation, always nice. Ah, see? So if I didn't go through and I missed 2 there, everywhere else I'm good. So if I do the next 2, and the less thick material, that method with the stick will work out really good. In this thicker stuff, well, at least the patterning is quite neat, and the spacing is much nicer. Hold on, I did a really good job there, but in some places I didn't, so the spacing is much nicer. So it can be refined, but bottom line is, kind of works. So visit roydesignthat.com for other bizarre ideas. Some of them are pretty good. You know, ignore or do what you want with the ones that aren't. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care, guys.
So that was a lot of work, but the results are really worth it. At any rate, visit roydesignthat.com for some boat designs and some of my adventures. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.